As artists, we need to know different techniques and skills. Tools in our toolbox that we can pull out whenever we need them. Here are some techniques that I like to use while painting. Like I mentioned, I like to have my reference right next to my artwork, so I make my canvas big enough to fit both. You'll want to have magnetic on while you're putting this into place. Otherwise, things could go wonky if you place it with freeform selected. So with magnetic on, I put this in place. When I'm finished, I just press the arrow. Then I go to my layers, swipe left, and duplicate. Now again with my transform tool, I move this copy over. But what is the point of this, you might ask? Well, what I like to do then is alpha lock that copy layer, and using a big soft brush, I fill it in. Basically, what I've just done is I've made it so that my canvas is the exact same size as my reference. This is going to make measuring for accuracy so much easier, because I will be comparing things that are the exact same size. You can also put a grid on your drawing to help with accuracy. All you have to do is insert the grid and then place it exactly where you want it. Make sure magnetic is on for this too. Then from there, just add a new layer, drag it below the grid, and get to drawing. I also like to drop horizontal lines on occasion to see if my reference and my drawing are lining up. To do that, just add a new layer, then do the straight horizontal line trick, using my finger to make sure it snaps to the perfect horizontal. Then I make sure I have the features in the right spot. You can add as many lines as you want, and you can even move them around with the transform tool. I looked over at my cat Olive one morning and I said, "Stay there. I need to take your picture so I can show my class." So here she is. Isn't she adorable? Okay, that's all I wanted to show you here. Just kidding. What I actually wanted to show you was how simple her shapes are. When you're painting, it's always a good idea to try and break down complex subjects into their most simple, basic shapes. This will help you confidently draw. Because of course you can draw this drumstick shape, this rounded triangle, this teardrop shape, and those two little triangles on top. You'll also want to look at more abstract negative shapes. Those are the shapes around your subjects. Our brains have programmed how it thinks things should look. For example, an eye, a tree, a house. People would probably draw these symbolic images similarly if asked to draw them from their imagination. But when we observe abstract shapes, because our brains don't have any preconceived ideas for how they should look, we can actually draw things more accurately. This is why drawing the negative space, which is the abstract shapes around objects, can help us draw more accurately. Because we've never seen this exact shape before, we'll give it our attention, helping us find its exactness. I'm constantly on the lookout for negative space. It's a great way to check yourself. You can even put a quick grid on a new layer and then check a smaller section for accuracy if you wish. A solid value structure can lead you to a solid painting. Try breaking down your reference into just 5 graphic value shapes. Connecting similar values will help you achieve a simple yet confident design statement. Painting like this will help your painting read from a distance as well. Squint at your reference if you can't see the value hierarchy clearly. This will simplify the values, grouping similar values together. Sometimes I want to get a summery golden hour glow in my paintings, and it's really easy to do. You just take a soft brush and make it really big. And then using an orangey color like this, and using a light circular motion, add that orange glow. I just love the warmth that this gives images. Sometimes when I'm color picking from an image, I'll just push the saturation and contrast a tad more. I just find this helps to get where I'm going faster in my painting process, and I also don't have to press down as hard on my pen. There are also tons of color adjustments you can try out, so experiment and push your color to where you want it. Here's a quick tip for creating depth in a painting. Select your background with the selection tool, and then go to Adjustments, Gaussian Blur. Then you can take your finger and slide it to add blurriness. This creates an instant depth of field effect, like a camera gives. And it's a good way of showing space and distance in your painting. I think it's important to get a solid structure in a painting before adding details. To render realistic forms, you can do this in your imagination or even turn this into a painting exercise. First, draw cross contours, basically wrapping lines around your object. If it makes it easier, imagine sticky strings wrapping around your object and clinging to its curves. This will break your object down into several sections or planes. Then you can color pick from the image and find the average color of each of these planes. Then you can find a color that would fall between those two planes. And using a soft brush, you can just paint that on. This is a method that you can use for blending two planes together. Every plane change is going to be a color change, and this is an excellent way to practice painting light and shade. Quick tip: you can make this bigger like this to pick even more precise colors. Throughout class, you'll see me drawing a lot with my favorite pencil, the 6B pencil found in the sketching section. The change I personally make to this brush, though, is I like to push the size limits to max. This gives me a full range of sizes and a good variety to the lines I can get. I like to use the tip of the pencil for thinner lines, and then also I like to put the pencil on its side for thicker strokes. Experiment with the tilt of your pencil to see the variety you can get. If you ever want to reset your brush from its modified state, just swipe left and press reset. As you can see, you can also duplicate if you ever want to as well. Using lines can also be a great way to render form. You can use cross contour lines to help describe volumes. Like here, I used lines with varying values to help show the form of the cheekbone turning. For textures, experiment with the fantastic brushes Procreate has to offer. You can add a new set, name it, and drag and drop your favorites there. Procreate will store a copy there. I like to do this so I can easily access my favorite go-tos. You can also create brushes by pressing this plus sign. Or if you don't want to start from scratch, duplicate a brush you already like. Clicking source, you can change the shape of the brush and the grain. I spent literally days playing around and making brushes. It's really a lot of fun. Basically what you need are black and white square photos to use as source files. Have fun with this. The possibilities are endless. Check out the Procreate community forum to find free brushes, brushes for purchase, and where you can share your own. A quick note about style: each brush will give you a slightly different look and style, so embrace it and have fun with it.